Hi everybody, today I will show you about how to use conditional rendering in React. It's something like the if or the else in some programming language, but here I opened the previous lesson with some of the default with render function here, and now we define a class named logging component, and it extends from the React component. Here is the definition of a component by using class in React, and we have a constructor and input is props. So we call the super to call to the constructor of parent class, the React component class, and I set the state is equal to is login. Login is a property of the state, and the default when I create the object is false. It is false, and this will be become true or false depending on your login button. When user press to the login button, it will become login, or when you press another, it will log out. It is very convenient when you use where in login or log out from. So inside the render function, I check the property is login. If it is true, it will show the button that it is login, and when it is false, it shows that it is log out. And depending on the state in the button, user can determine that he or she is a login or log out. I define the let.my button is equal to null. Let means a variable that you can change its value but cannot redefine it. It means that when you redefine this, let my button is equal to null, then let my button is equal to etc. It is not permitted, but you can assign it to another value. So here I assign it to an element of button on click is equal to function handle logout. So when you when it is login, when is login is equal to true, we can call to this on click. It defines the on click when you press the button, and I define the function here as is a previous lesson by setting it to an arrow function. Inside the arrow function is an implementation of the handle logout function, and here I can see that the arrow function has no name because I only need to use it one time, and it is very convenient if you use it with no name. So I call the setter of the state. The setter of the state can define it when then assign it to false, assign the is login to false, and when you when this button is shown, it will have the handle function is log out, and here is a handle function to log in. Mean handle login. In handle login, the is login is equal to true, and here is another case we call handle login. Handle login, yes, and the if else here is conditional, and when you call to this, it will render depending on the if component. The if else, then the component is rendered depending on the condition in if. Okay, so I must add the user interface inside the div. So here we get a button. Okay, you can see that we have the button of login or logout. When you press it, we will change the button to another type of button. When you press to when it is login, you can call to the function logout and vice versa. So here inside this we call it the conditional rendering. If I want to add, now I want to add more title to here. We define the let title is also equal to null, and we set the title is when is login. You can show that you are login. You have just login, and I adding it to a heading one. It shows that login and vice versa. It's a logout. This command here is conditional operator. Here, when you press login, it's a login. When you press logout, it's a logout. Very easy to see, to understand. And when it is true, it goes to this. This state is login is equal to true. It goes to the first, and here is the second. The second element is when used when the is login is false. So it is a ternary or conditional operator. So I comment this, and I will introduce you another interesting topic. That is how to use operator NN. Identify the mirror component. Is a component that stands from React.component. So this mirror component will demo or will show you about how to work with operator NN. So I define some of the default constructor here and render the render function. Inside this we have the heading 2. We add a heading 1 that mail statistic. It will show the number of your messages if you have a new message, and it will show nothing if you have no message. Inside here I add a new message property, this.prop.new message length. Here is a condition. If it is larger than 0 or it contains new message, then it will come to the inside. You can show the heading 2 inside this. The heading 2 here is so when the length of new message is larger than 1 or we have new message. So we call it is inline if with logical AND operator. It is very convenient because it will show the heading 2 or not show the heading 2 depending on your new message length. And in the case it shows that you have a curly brace length new message. I copy this and define it as a input property. It inside here we can fix some of the value. We fix some of the value. Here how are you an array. We add now here an array. The first is string how are you, and the second is are you online. So the new message here has a length 2. Yes, so it shows that you have 2 new messages. And if I add more element to this array, hello, refresh, okay, we have 3 new messages. And in the case we have nothing or the the array is blank, so it does not show anything. It is also blank. Okay, so you remember this? Very easy to remember. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have or if you want to add more video, you can subscribe to my channel to see more interesting video. Bye bye and see you again.